Think I'm live? I guess let me know if everybody can see me. As usual. Spinborn, Diana, Mary, Will, Mark, Frank, Rob, David, Skaggs, Jody, Mark, Ed, Arturo, Pat, Ed, Rob. Yes. Hopefully yes means I am live. God, love it, man. The, so in the morning it just goes live. I click the button and 30 minutes of awesome for whatever reason now it says, hey, we can't go live. You have to click another button, and then didn't confirm I'm live. So that's always cool. So, always cool. So let's do a poll. Almost clicked the poll without the the options on it. It's gonna be yes or no. There you go. So this morning, funny enough, I was wrapping up this morning's live stream. Wasn't even paying attention to the chat. I couldn't even see the chat, and it, I was I had asked the same question. I was sitting there drawing on the charts. I think maybe if we stay right where we are, probably 55% we drop, 45% we pop. And that is exactly how y'all voted this morning on the stream. Is that 55% thought we would drop, 45% thought we would pop. I copied it and saved it just in case it disappeared on me right there. And that's what when I ended the stream, I was like, well, I guess I'm in tune with the audience right there. So I thought that was funny. One of those weird coincidences, right? Weird coincidences. Now, so we're gonna do probably an out, till about 6 o'clock on the stream, and then we'll flip over to channel member only. Ask me anything for those of you that are channel members, which is quite a bit of you actually. I do appreciate it. My family appreciates it that you choose to support me doing this extra content. And yeah, there you go. Perfect pitch. Yeah. No, I mean, y'all choose to support me. I do an Ask Me Anything, and I'll hang out until we're done. Like, pretty much. Usually we wrap up pretty quick. But tomorrow I'll be doing a member only stream for the FOMC also. And you got to be a paying channel member. That's, there's no, not trying to sugarcoat it. It's not part of anything else. YouTube is run by me and my family, not by the company. So they made it very clear that they didn't want a piece of it. So that's kind of the way it works. Anyway, so what do we got on tap this week? FOMC tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. It's pretty, I guess the betting markets are pretty sure we're going to get a rate cut. That's kind of like the second line here, rate cut, pretty sure. I don't know. There's not a lot of room for it, but, the whatever Hassett does for the president, he's out there beating the drum this afternoon saying there's plenty of room for rate cuts. We can rate cut down to, whatever. Free money, loose money, as I talked about this morning, is a recipe for higher inflation. And QE or not to QE, that is the question. The more money they pump out there, more inflation potential. But another tweet I just saw, or post, or whatever you want to call it these days, X post, I just saw it, is that 2025, as with only like 21 days left, is on track to be the worst year of layoffs and job losses in the United States since the Great Depression. That's not so great. And it's blowing the doors off the Great Recession in 2008. So if you feel it, guess what? There's a reason. There's a reason. So, anyway. Guess before I get too far into anything, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss, and just because I talk about trades doesn't mean you should take them, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Just because I talk about high probability stuff doesn't mean it's always going to work. This presentation is intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. If you trade them, you might lose money, probably will lose money. It's kind of the way this goes. 90% of people who buy options lose money, so be careful. If you want somebody to tell you what to do, hire and consult a financial advisor, but nobody's going to watch out for your money better than you do, so it would pay you dividends, literally, to take a vested interest in your own financial well-being. Always got room for improvement, right? Always room for Jello. Anyway, all right, let's end this stream, in this poll. 61 now on a pop, 39 a drop. Well, the evening crew here more optimistic than the morning crew. Only 28 votes. We had 89 voters on this morning. So let's see, what could we? I know y'all are here, but let's just see. Let's get a feeling. Do you enjoy the format of this show? Been doing this show for, it's the longest running thing I've done consistently. Only missed like 2 weeks out of the last 5 years. So jury duty messed with it, I think. And we've done pretty good run. So hopefully everybody enjoys the show. FOMC. So why do I say rate cuts kind of sketchy? Is because of Delta Golf CR2. That's the 2-year constant maturity rate. If you've never seen this before, welcome to the truth. The Fed chases the market rate. All right. The blue rate is the 2-year Treasury constant maturity rate from the Federal Reserve. It's kind of funny. It's their own rate. The orange rate is the target Fed funds rate. Right? They act like they're the kings. They set all the rates. Well, guess what? Since I've been trading, they chase this. Like, I don't know what happened over here. It was a little more chaotic back here, but they were still chasing, basically. Chasing. But they did lead a little bit on the downs and the ups. They led. But something changed right in here about the time I started trading. And ever since that time, they've been the ones chasing the blue. And they chase the blue into the bottom, chase the blue back to the top, chase the blue back to the bottom. And, sometimes they front run a little bit, but most of the time they don't. Most of the time they're just chasing. And right now, the market rate is a little bit below. This is why I say there's not a lot of room for a rate cut, is because the real market rate today, 3.57. Their rate, 3.88. And if you shave a quarter point off of that, 3.66, roughly 3.63, 3.6. That's really darn close to that right there. One little pop. Now all of a sudden, the market rate is above the Fed rate. And if the market rate continues higher, the Fed, in their infinite wisdom, has to turn around and raise rates. Now, that's not so good. What's also crazy to me, just crazy, weird coincidence, say what you will, comparing this right here with this right here, and comparing apples to apples here, flat top on both cycles. This one up here is exactly 2 times longer duration than this one right here. Interesting. This little guy right here and this little guy right here, this one is exactly 2 times longer than this one right here. Anybody remember what happened right here? That was not a great time. Not a great time. COVID flash crash. We all thought we were going to die, right? I mean, a lot of panic in the market. Now, a lot of people think that the crash was unpredictable, but it was right here in the chart. Funny enough. So guess what's... We don't know what's about to happen. Got like this ticking time bomb sitting here. You know, they never happen exactly the same, but interesting. Some sort of freak out and hiccup could cause us to cut rates back to 0. That'd be interesting. Would definitely be interesting. So this sitting here is a potential. You know, maybe we cut again. Maybe something actually comes to head and all these job losses and stuff like that actually matter, and like things get a little out of control and we do cut back towards 0. I mean, solve a lot of the debt problems for the United States. But it doesn't have to happen. Nothing has to happen. So right now, that's potential's hanging out there. See what actually happens. I'm sure they'll cut rates because, well, the market pretty much is convinced that we're going to cut rates. 97% right now. You can almost buy a few no's just for giggles here. Probably gonna do a 1/4 point cut. Probably gonna do a 1/4 point cut. Typed that wrong. There it is. Mortgage 30. That's the one I was looking for. Where's all that relief on the interest rates, right? This thing hadn't really budged in 2 years. Not going higher, but not going lower either. We're like, ooh, we're at the lowest. We're at the lowest we've been for all year. Yeah, except right here was lower. Only briefly. This thing has just not been giving it up here. So, if you hear construction sounds, I do apologize. I guess they're putting up drywall now downstairs. Rebuilding. At some point this afternoon, they got a crap lot of drywall delivered. Now they're building metal studs. So if you hear something banging around, that's probably what they're doing. Rebuilding the office underneath me. Hopefully that'll be done in a couple weeks. Anyway, mortgage 30 is not really telling me much. Although, 3-wave correction into the roadmap line with a higher low, the potential for this thing to break out and go higher is very real. That was a 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that an A? Do an A, B, C for a B. And then we do a C correction. and then go higher? Or do we bring it all the way back down? It's kind of interesting. I mean, kind of interesting. So, different, right? Don't really hear everybody talk about this stuff, but right there, not really going anywhere. So, yeah, at least one person voted no on the enjoying 30 EMA. Let's see what anybody thinks on this question. So we're sitting up here at a resistance point. I kind of outlined the fact that we may come on up in this zone. Possibly could go a little higher, 75. Yeah, this was an alternate theory, kind of looking at the way we've come up. Possibly this was a 1, 2. Come on off the lows back here. And this was potentially a 1, 2 into the March 2022. It dropped very, I guess, precipitously, very aggressively into that low there at COVID. Then we popped that, possibly a wave 1. We retraced into 2022, low, wave 2. You know, these are getting smaller degree here. Then a 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, 5 potential. So possible we were topping out somewhere. It is also possible we go into some sort of prolonged correction here. Maybe a sucky year or two. And then possibly going up. And it's not a big crash, right? That's not really a big crash. That's just back where we were Liberation Day. And then we get to come on up and then potentially chop in here for, this almost as bad as doing a big correction, because market just doesn't go anywhere hardly for the next, this is probably out to the 37 or so, next decade or so. We just kind of chop in here. That'd be pretty rough. Make a higher high every few every few year cycle. This is an alternate kind of pathway I have lined out here. If we don't just do a big giant correction like I've talked about, it's possible we kind of chop in here for a number of years as we grind it on up, trying to find that high. And that goes, this stems all the way back to this prolonged correction we had on that great financial crisis. Nice 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that whole system, and then this would kind of match that first. 1, 2, 3 would have all those same kind of bubbles in it. And 5 could push this on up a little bit, maybe 10,000 level. And then we could possibly go into a longer, deeper correction. Maybe. I don't know. It's interesting when you look at it. Try to break it all down. Like, other elite weighticians do not count it this way, so. But it just kind of, when I zoomed out and looked at it and just kind of started thinking about the way this is unfolded with the 5 waves in each of these, kind of seemed like the way it might be playing out. Like, this one was really prolonged and slow. Of course, it took us a while to get back to the original breakout there. Let's turn off that magnet. Took us a while to get back, several years to get, 4 years to get back to the breaking out there. I don't know. Different ways to look at it. Yesterday didn't really provide much clarity. Didn't really do anything, just kind of sat. I am cautious about tomorrow if we just keep hanging in this area. So we didn't really break out. We didn't really break down. We just sat. We've just been sitting here for days. This makes me very cautious that tomorrow is kind of a coin flip. I've got it drawn on the other chart here. So we didn't really do the breakdown. We didn't flush it down here. I was hoping we might see, I was kind of hopeful we would break down and get out like a 100-point flush, and then that would set us up for a pop tomorrow. But without that breakdown, unless we do it overnight in the first part of tomorrow, just hanging right here, it's kind of a coin flip. Coin flip. If we were up here, it's more of a drop guarantee. If we're in here, it's kind of a coin flip. If we're down here, it's more of a pop guarantee. So of course the market does the thing that's the most ambiguous. I've been mentioning this for a couple weeks, that we may just hang out right here, and then who knows what happens exactly. I mean, maybe we get both. Maybe we get a dip and rip, and a rip and a dip, and a 1, 2, 3 move. We're down below the all-time high, which is one reason this is so concerning to me coming into tomorrow. So we're not at a point where we can just clear our rip. This is that's the high, that's a lower high, and this is the second lower high. And that's why I kind of said 55% we might go down here on a coin flip. 45% we could just break on out. The price action is stacked for this to be the more likely thing to do. Of course, we could get a little dip, 100-point dip, and then rip. That would make me feel a lot better. But it just hadn't happened. So it's possible that we get a dip and it's only like 100 points on FOMC, and then we rip and break out through this downtrend of highs. Possible. I don't know. Anything's possible in the market. What's funny is, back in October, I drew these two smileys right here. Danger zone above this level and danger zone below this level, and we've not broken either level. Stayed in here. I drew them back here, I think back in October when we made this high. We got really darn close right here in November. Then we bounced. We haven't broken out. Nasdaq doesn't provide much more clarity because it's basically this same pattern. We're underneath, we're right up against it, but we're underneath that high. Underneath that high. It's ripe for a pullback. And it's ripe for that to be an A, B, and C to a lower low down here. Particularly on Nasdaq. Like it looks better for that than any of the other indexes. And Russell's really the only other one I watch. And this one, actually, the way it's sitting here, it's above that. This looks ripe for a pop. But that's the big long-term target too, so not far below that. Could come on up to 2,700. That's possible too. And this is your small caps. This is where like 85% of the company or the country works. 80%. Like small caps employ most of the people. Big caps just have most of the money. And then oil continuing to push down. I kind of hope tomorrow we just flush this baby down, get a move down below 50, we make the bottom, and we set up the long-term upside potential on oil. So Bitcoin Still doing Bitcoin things, but I don't like that price action. Don't like what we did here. That was a failed breakout. Not good. Not good. Not good. Not good. We didn't make substantial higher. We didn't make a substantial higher move. We just popped up there and then started retracing. That is not good. Don't know what it means yet, but it's not immediately bullish. And this one did pop up though. This Ethereum hit the first target right there. So we need to see this get continuation though. I really need to see this. If this is going to be bullish, we need to get move on up here. We need to be above 35. 35.5. Need to get above that. Or even tag it, consolidate, and break out. And we're set for all-time highs. That would be a nice crypto summer type thing. You know, going higher, new highs. But if we fail back down below this low, just from the 7th, we've come crashing back down here. That's not going to be good. So Ethereum looking stronger than Bitcoin, BTC.D. And the Bitcoin dominance. This is what makes me nervous. If we break down on the Bitcoin dominance, if this breaks back down, it's probably going to indicate crypto winner. We could see altcoins rally while Bitcoin plunges. This is the initial sign that that's going to happen. We saw it kind of happen every crypto winter. We get this move down or retrace, and then Bitcoin plunges. The dominance of Bitcoin plunges while other altcoins rise to power. So, all right, let's do at least 30 minutes of requests. And the rules of the game, you got to type in capital letters. One request per person per request. If you put a bunch of tickers on one thing, I'll just kind of skip it. I need to be clear. I need to be able to read it. I need to be able to type it in. It's got to be something I can just easily type into TradingView. If you tell me, like, I want to look at Core Main, and I have no idea what the ticker for Core Main is, I'm not going to use it. And I'll go for 30 minutes. And if we run out of time, the rest of the tickers will be inside the Ask Me Anything session. I'll just keep going down the list after we switch over. So that's kind of the rules of the game. If you got a question that goes with it, please use a complete sentence. Don't use this, that, these, or those, or it. Refer specifically to the ticker and the chart if you're going to comment. That way I know what the devil we're talking about. SLV is coming up to the target. Right there, 58.50. That was the target. First target. Second target, 70. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. DocU is being really strong today, but this is why I wasn't worried on the last earnings. Did make a slight, just ever so slightly lower low. Coming back up. We can break up through the roadmap line. This is bullish. Bullish, bullish. Okay, this was bottoming action. And the fact that we held above, just barely held on to the top. So the move right here, just barely held on to these highs. Potential for this to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, even though it was really deep, just barely held on to this. 1, 2, 3, 4. That leaves 5 open for a pop up here. Back above the 3. All we really need to finish this up is a move up in here, but 110 to 130 is the target. If we can get something bullish going. We do have a downtrend of highs that we'll have to break out of. But once we break out, that would be the target. I am long several hundred shares of this. I like the move today. Looked good in my account. I'd love to see the continuation of that one. Shopify. I've been pretty bullish on this one. And just having to click on the one alert put on this page. 2 alerts. 3 alerts. 4 alerts. Let's delete some of these. We're not going to trigger these. We're not going to trigger those. Probably not even going to trigger that one. Why were those alerts on there? For retraces, but just not been retracing. So we had this big correction back here where we're gunning for a breakout right here. 231, 297. And I've been bullish on this baby for years coming out of this low back here. Now this is lagging. Like big tech is all up here. Possibly even getting close to up here. So this has been lagging quite a bit. So if we can break out 231, be the upside there. And that's going to be, what, 60 points higher? 70 points higher? So that's nothing to sneeze at there. That's 70 points higher. It's a fair move up. Let's see, 259. Didn't get that quite close. There we go. And yeah, I mean, 40% higher. Not bad. Shopify. DCI. AIM. 96, possibly. Upside resistance and the support down at the breakout. Back down at 79. Core Weave. Not been a big fan of this one. Yeah, we've rejected. Man, look at that. Beautiful ABC correction right there. A, B, C. So is C done or not? I don't know. Like here's the resistance. Come up. If we get back above this level, probably going higher. If we stay below this level, probably going to back down. A little bit lower. Very classically, we get down further than just where we've gone. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be very classic to see that kind of price action, double bottom. And then we could build something positive here. So that level that we got to break above, sitting right. Man, dadgummit. Don't you love it when I'm, there we go. That level right there. It's right in there around 114, 16. We can break above that. Great. And the roadmap line is sitting right there too. So that may provide a major resistance. And we may turn down for the 5th move. Just price structure. Yep. Just price structure. All right. That's Core Weave for you. So not super bullish for a move up yet. AAOI. Applied Optoelectronics. What kind of nerds put Optoelectronics in their company name? I mean, I'm pretty nerdy, but I know that that's not like, that's a mouthful of garbage right there. You want something everybody remembers. Apple, Google, Amazon. Optoelectronics is not a household family name. 43 upside target. This basically kicks off the entry today. Probably on the list. Let's see if it's already on the list. Grab my daily charts. Still on yesterday's list. Let's see. Roll up, roll up, roll up, roll up, roll up. CBA. No, didn't make it on the list today. So one reason or another. May not even be on the searching list. Maybe is this thing new? No, it's been around. Didn't make it on the list. Oh well. New potential entry for tomorrow though. Right there. DLR. Target's 43.46. Stop is $1 below the low, down around 17.50. Next up is DLR. Talked about this somewhere recently. Oh, Digital Realty. This is Data Center Real Estate Investment Trust. So pull this information up. Only a 3% dividend, so this is not one I would go after really for double dip trades type stuff. You kind of have to believe that this was going higher, and it's just kind of been chopping for a couple years. So this is a way to capture 3%, but it's not exactly being super strong. So it's kind of lackluster. And real estate investment trusts tend to do that. So it's one of those, if that's your bag, baby, go after it. But I probably would do other things because I know how to do so many other things to make money faster than to sit in a real estate investment trust right now. ACN. Maybe that was it. I mean, it's possible, but this looks so sloppy. And this last move, not a very clear 5 down. You know, if this was the 4-5, that was very small compared to the 1, 2, 3. It's very small. So what we'll be watching right the moment. Yeah. Watch out for this high right in here. If we can break through that, get through this low, which is that low, and that low, and that low. If we can get through that, the next upside resistance is right here. 323. And if we get a close above that, potential to come back up here and probably be an all-time high. So that's what that looks like on ACN. Warner Brothers Discovery is super bullish. Had that on that was a potential bottom, and looks like we've done all. We're hitting the upside targets here. You know, it won't be long before this thing gets above. This is going to blow everybody's bid if this thing takes a run. Is up here, then no shareholder is going to accept a buyout for, you know, nobody's going to sell the Warner Brothers part for 27 or the whole company for 30 if this thing's trading at like 80. So that'd be crazy, right? It's like traders have an opportunity to do something a little crazy here. So Netflix bid 27 just on the Warner Brothers assets, not on the whole company. Paramount bid 30 on the entire company, given a $3 premium to for Discover assets, you know, home HGTV and all the other brands that are under there, all the shows and whatnot. So $3 premium over the Netflix bid, and right now this thing rips, gets above 30. Seems like both deals are bad deals. I guess we'll see what happens. But I had this already as a bullish potential. We're already blowing through that 21. And this actually sets up for a much bigger potential. Talking about a move back up in here. It was this low, this retrace, and that bounce put the potential up here. It'd be pretty wild if it survives the hostile takeover. So the Paramount bid is a hostile takeover type bid, but it starts being above 30, then nobody wants their shares to get bought out for less money than they're actually worth on the market. So kind of funny. All right. 2 people asked for ACN. Already covered it. Puts. Put 8. It says the potential to break on out here. We can clean sheet it here. So here's this move up we've had cooking on the lower time frames. It gives it potential to come up to 48, 46, 47, 48. And then bigger picture, looking at this bounce. Here's the high, here's the low. Not quite a daily bounce, but 62 on the upside there. So 30, it was a 30-minute bounce is what it did. Fired off the other day. And then gave it that 47 target up here. Got really close to that today. I forgot to put an alert on that. All right. I have a call spread on CIE. Oop. Fingers on the wrong key. CIEN. It's at ridiculous levels. Watch for a retrace. That's what I got right now. And it's climbing to the moon. Yep. It's at levels we've retraced from before, so be careful. It can come right back down about like this, back to 120. Yeah, yikes, that's a 50% retrace. Yep, then it sets it up to go higher again. And just a reminder, everybody, we're going to flip over to a members-only stream in about 15 minutes. Schedule it up. I will hit the rest of the list, no matter where I get to inside that stream. So there you go. It's in the poll. Most people don't think the rates can go back to 0 without a big problem. So back to its strategy. Well, potential, the bottom's in place. I was looking for a bounce back up to 250. I'm not liking that rejection today. Not awesome, but 250 is my short-term target. Nice little pop there. Then we'll see what happens. That would be roughly 31% upside from where we are, which could put it, like if you traded something like MSTX, maybe like a 60% upside, which is not too wacko. I mean, we're only looking for like a move up to 10. That's like not bad. Not bad type of deal. 5 below is definitely more than 5 below the all-time high. So a pretty solid ceiling right here. And we might be gunning for coming back up to that ceiling. Otherwise, it's just been choppy in this giant range. You know, we were here in 2020. We're up here in 2021. We're back down here in 2025. And we're coming back up. It's just a giant freaking range. Bouncing around. EBIO. And there's no... I don't generally try to predict pharma, biotech, pharma, medtech, med specialties, because they just don't follow the pattern hardly at all. They just kind of do their own thing. This is coming up into a resistance zone. Sounds like they're sawing somebody's legs off downstairs. There's the prior high, and that can be resistance. If it would push on out, great, but that was the lowest low. and you can't really use this price action back here for projecting anything. So move up, retrace, move up, retrace, move up. Potential for this to retrace back down to this vicinity would be classic type price action or bullish continuation. Anything other than that, maybe a crazy move and then a big correction. That's kind of what I got. Sorry, that's not more helpful. Doc, you already covered. ENPH keeps grinding toward the abyss. Let's see. There's the high. Here's the low. There's another. Ugh, nasty. I mean, if that's a giant ABC, it's potentially complete. That would be ABC. But when we zoom out a bit bigger, that level doesn't make any sense. Like, there's nothing really there. Possibly down to 16 would make sense. Go off this low, go up to that high. 7 makes sense. Yeah, that level makes sense. Right in there. That makes sense. This makes sense. 618 retrace, but where we are, maybe. But I would think support's even further down, and it's pretty nasty compared to where we were up here at 350 for this to come back to 7. That's what happens when it goes to the, when they go to the moon and fly too close to the sun. And when PLTR doing the same sort of flying toward the moon, setting up for a big downside, just like that ENPH had. So we bounced up to resistance. We've been sitting there for 3 days. If everything doesn't go rosy tomorrow, could be right down here. If things do go rosy, we could be popping up to 218. ARCC. 3-wave move into the roadmap line. Resistance zone right up in here. If we can turn it more bullish, we'll hit this and then retrace and go higher. So we turn down here, probably going lower low than this back here. It's kind of the way that rolls on ARCC. HIMS potentially working on the bottom being done here. Resistance very firmly right here. Right there. 45 to 48 area. If we get through that, we can see some upside. We bounce off of that, we can come back down and make a lower low. Kind of that clear. It's pretty specific there. Coca-Cola now. This actually has a very nice nested pattern built up here. Did this 1, 2, 1, 2, and then a bigger 1, 2. This has like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The target on this is going to be like right up here. It's going to take a while to get there, but probably looking at something like that. About a $14 upside. It could turn into something even bigger, but not get too excited right now. It could be up near 90 or 100. Major confluence right there around 85, 84, 85. And BX, Blackstone. So it's just kind of grinding right now. This is got higher lows, nice 618s. That presents the opportunity, but not the guarantee that if we can break on out. Unfortunately, with the speed of decline here in these lower highs, that puts the potential for this to come all the way up here and still be able to bounce down. But if we can get through that, the upside potential, massive. Right up here, 300. That's Blackstone. CSIQ. I'll be careful here. Potential topping out for now. I was chasing this one pretty aggressively. Topped out right here. But that could just be the... This could have been the wave 4. Of course, 2 took really fast. You know, 2 was the long one compared to this fast retrace here. So I'm not sure this is done. It may need to come down a little lower. At which point, be careful. It can come down here and then come back up here. And that would be 5 up. But then it would invite the wave 2. Before we can go higher again. So that may be what that one's cooking right there. CSIQ. All right. CIFR. Watch out for the retrace to the roadmap line. First move down, retrace. That would be what I expect. And Las Vegas Sands. Finally. So this has been trying to break out for a long time. I wasn't really paying attention to this one because it just took so long to get through this. I mean, look at this, 2014. Downtrend, 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 and just broke out finally. This has potential to be big right here. Really big. Talking about a potential up here. Wacko numbers. I don't really have much to offer. Probably going to retrace, then give more clarity on where it's going next. Lemonade. Lemonade. Has pet insurance. So this is at a resistance. And probably due for a retrace. Back to the breakout. We can go up again. That'd be what I would expect on Lemonade. Clean Spark. And this failed miserably. This breakdown right here was not good. And this inability to get through this 618, not good. Watch out for that to plummet on down. Plummet on down. LU. Sit on the roadmap line. I think I covered it. Yeah, I covered this morning. There's the resistance. There's the target. And if we turn down, A, B, C potential. So upside target here. Once we get above the 618, up there at 353. And if we don't break above 353 with a daily close, the target is down here. Like that. Elf Beauty has been the stick in my eye for years. Look at how that, see that bounce right there? Hit the target and rejected, man. Holy cow. I am glad I have not put more money on this. I took a loss back. Like, I ran out of time on this breakout back here, wherever it was, right in here. Ran out of time. I think it was there. It was either there or there. One of those two. Ran out of time on that breakout, and it just freaking been aggravated with it ever since. And here's the low. There's the high. We're at the 618. So if this is actually, if this was the bottom back here in April, this is the move up and the retrace. We are looking at a potential next move higher. This is where it gets wild. We get back above the daily roadmap line. Back above that crap right there. Could be looking at a move up to 420. Nice 3-wave retrace. Nice move up. Potential 5 up. Nice retrace again. 618 held. That would put that next move up 420. Then a potential retrace back down in here. Probably test the breakout is what that'll look like. And then we'll go higher again. Beautiful if you can hold on to it. I may consider selling some puts. Let's see. $1.80, you know, beta 189. The upside potential on this is ridiculous. If you're a wheel trader, put seller, picking some up in here, this breaks out, that could be a major upside. Major upside run. EME. There's potential bounce resistance at 688, target at 815. PayPal still gunning for 42 on the downside. I have a big long-term. Let's see if it's on this chart. Yeah, there it is. I have this big long-term negative view of PayPal and probably going to bottom out down here. Looks like we're about to switch over to the stream, the members only stream in just a second. So everybody, if you're just a regular subscriber, thank you for being here. You can hit the button, be a channel member, hit the little $ underneath me and become a channel member and come hang out. We'll be on the Ask Me Anything stream till I'm done. Anything that's in the chat, I'll keep hitting till I get to the bottom of that, and then we'll do the Ask Me Anything part. It's LYB. Looks like this is just a downtrend. Keep on. Like, no reason to think the trend is done on that one. Frog. It's a French frog. And yeah, we're right. So there's this IPO chop. If we get back to the top of that, we may pause there for a little bit, but this is set to potentially pop on out. Right there. We'll see on new highs. Don't really have anything without a recent pullback. Burlington. Beautiful ABC correction. Potential done on that. Beautiful hit. Come back up above 281, 320, 330.